In this lesson, we're going to talk about the Backstage tab. Now, it's a little misleading because we talked about the ribbons earlier and how whatever command you click on in the ribbon gets you different commands that are associated with it. But we didn't talk about the file one. So when you click on the file command in the ribbon area, it actually takes you to kind of a different interface, if you will. And this is called the Backstage tab in Excel. Now we're going to look over several elements here, but just for starters, in the upper left you have three different views: Home, New, and Open. And if we start on Home, that has kind of a couple elements for everything. It's got the template area, which is up top here. Then it's got your saved files, your recently saved files on the bottom half of the screen. So in Excel, when you save a file, it'll keep a list of all the files that you've saved, and it kind of counts them down. So this is the last file that I saved, and before that it was status report, before that it was module 1 summary, and so on and so forth. If you go to the New tab, that's how we create a brand new workbook. And Open will let us open other documents. Well, let's go back to Home first, and let's see what we can do here. So I'm still on the Getting Started workbook, and I'm going to show you a couple things below this separator here that we can look at with our Getting Started workbook. So first off, I can look at Info, and this will give me various information about the workbook, the full path and file name of where it is, the size, if I've put a title or tags in there, last time it was modified, when it was created. It looks like it was created a couple years ago. I actually did create this file many years ago. Who the authors are, who was last modified by. Over here you can protect your workbook, check for different issues. Version history. Let's look at this. This is really useful. So when I click that, one of the real benefits to Excel 365, in addition to auto-saving everything, is that it saves a version pretty much anytime a change has been made. So in this version history, it saves a file pretty much anytime you made a change. So if I look at today, which is June 20th, I've got a couple different times that Excel has already saved this file. Then I go back further to yesterday. I can pick it up from 12/18 or 11/43, go back to June 18th, and all the way back to May 31st, and on and on. But it's really useful. That way you don't have to create some kind of elaborate way to save information that you might forget or have to resave a lot of files with date stamps. Excel keeps a version for you all the time, and that's really nice. All right, let's go back to the Backstage tab. Next, we can go to Save a Copy. So pretty much we've already saved our workbook, and now every time we do something, Excel just kind of auto saves it. But if I want to save it as something else or snapshot to give to somebody, here's where I can go to Save a Copy. I can go off and give it a different path and a different workbook name. I can save it to this PC, or I can actually pull up a browse window to browse my PC instead of the introduction. I could save it straight to my documents. The next command down is Print. Now we can't get to print from the other screen, but here's where we'll really work with a lot of printing. And we've got an entire module on that down the road, so we won't cover a lot of that now. Basically, if your document's ready to print though, you can just come in here and click Print. And Share is where you can share this file with a link to other people on your network, or you can copy the link and send it to somebody, send a copy. And the Export is similar, but it does let you change a file type. Now, the main file types you have are your XLS file or your Excel file, or PDF or XPS. For those of you who are unfamiliar, PDF is kind of a generic format that a lot of programs use. It's a way that anybody can read what you have. You lose a lot of the capabilities of the native program like Excel, but you do get to have a file that's very clean and will actually be exactly what you want to send to the person. And XPS is another type of document like that. It's Microsoft's version, but most people will use PDF here. Publish, that's if you want to upload it to Power BI or export it to Power BI dashboard. We're not going to really cover that in this course. And finally, at the bottom, you have Close. And this is how you can actually close your file. So I'll do that and then close my entire workbook file. So now I'll go back to Home on the Backstage tab. Now I can just pick a blank workbook, and if I want to do that, I could just click that here. But I do want to talk about some other options. Okay, if I go to New, I've got a blank workbook, and I've got some templates that I might have used before. But this is what I wanted to show you. In Office 365, you have access to hundreds of templates that people have already made. They've already taken the time to format them, to do the formulas, to kind of come up with a theme, all kinds of things. And so you can search on the internet for all these different templates. So if I go down here, so maybe I want some type of calendar. So I can click on different categories here. I've got a calendars category, so I'll click on that. And let's see what I've got. Seasonal photo calendar, illustrated any year calendar, a year 1 month calendar, an academic calendar, phases of the moon calendar, family event calendar, summer activity calendar, birthday. So let's click on one of these and see what happens. Let's do the summer activity calendar. So it tells you a little bit about it, tells you how much space it's going to take, and I'll go ahead and create it. And as you see, it's just a spreadsheet that somebody's already taken the time to kind of format a certain way and put in different dates or formulas or whatever. So if I want to come down here and say, you know, we might be going somewhere in July, on 4th of July week, let me just click on a day here and say beach vacation. Now I can copy that and I can paste that in. And I will do just values. Now these templates are really good. However, the one drawback is sometimes you have to understand how they work and they're not always very well documented. Okay, here I'm looking here. I just started typing in. It was for year 2019. And I just noticed I could have gone up to year 2020 or 2021 or 2022. Okay, so let's go back to our Backstage tab and let's look at new again. Let's just click on the business category to see what's there. And here you have a lot of things. You have a monthly company budget, an invoice, a blue balance sheet, a simple invoice, inventory with highlights. Now one of the things you can do too is if you pick one of these templates, maybe a simple invoice, I'll bring it up here. You can customize these yourself to actually put in your company name and your street address. I'll put in mine. And then you can kind of customize that template somebody's already built, but it's already set up a lot for you. You don't have to do a lot of the coloring, a lot of the formatting. Okay, so let's go back to the Backstage tab and I'm going to close that one. And I'll go ahead, I'm not going to save that. I'm going to close this one too. File and close. Okay, now I'm going to talk about getting a file open again. So we want to go back and reopen the Getting Started workbook. So if I go to the Open tab, I could look, and it's right here in Today, what I've worked with, Getting Started. And these, like I said, these files kind of scroll down as you use them, and they roll off the page eventually. I can scroll down and see many, many, many. It saved like maybe 20 of my workbooks. But there's another area called Pinned. What I've done is I've identified 3 workbooks that I use on a regular basis, and so I put a push pin in them. So they don't scroll off of that pinned area when I use other things. Look at this. The last couple files I used were Getting Started, Module 1 Summary, Passwords 6.5, Status Report, Mock Data. I don't see Tableau Study Tracking anywhere, but it's one of my pinned workbooks because I know I'm going to use that often. So up here it's got Tableau Study Tracking and I got a pin there. I could just click it and I can click Getting Started to open Getting Started. And I'll come back to my Backstage tab. So let me show you how to pin things. Now I'm in the home area right now, and on the home screen, the pinned aren't shown with the recent ones. They're on a separate little tab here. So I can click that and then see what was shared with me. But maybe I wanted to pin something else. Maybe I want to pin this mock data. So I go down to the mock data file, and it's right there. It's a push pin. All you do is click it, and now that mock data file is pinned, and it won't scroll off the screen. If I want to get rid of that pin, I just take it out. Maybe I don't use it on a daily basis anymore. Still on my computer, it's just not as accessible as it was before. So that's basically all there is to the Backstage tab. It's where you would go when you want to manage your files, you want to save them or open up new files or look at new templates. And it's pretty easy to get to. It's just the File tab in the same area as the ribbons.